One thing I've noticed about the 21st century is that we're so involved in information processing, production, and consumption. So there's basically two groups of people. There's like me, or I'd say most people, who, when they have any free time, they consume, and they consume. They're bombarded by the media for information and news and ideas and all these things, and even voluntarily we'll go and we'll look on Facebook, or we'll watch something on Netflix, and we'll basically just consume information. It's I'm not I'll reserve judgment on what I think about that just for a little bit. But then there's the other side, that's the production, and they basically think about what would people consume. So they're almost consumed by the same idea, just from a different angle. I think it's two sides of the same coin more than it's two different ways of life. And production seems more desirable because you are making the money and consumers are spending the money. So who wants money? I think most of us do. Production seems more desirable, but it still seems a little odd that in this day and in this age, we've sort of got away from experience. So, for example, we have all these ideas, we have all these thoughts, we have all this information, but we do very little. We sit in front of the screen, we listen, you have to be basically only half conscious to take in all this information. And it just seems strange that I would say it's probably correlated with the high depression rates, the high suicide rates, and all these things. And I know it's also because this is the first time we're tracking depression rates and suicide rates, and we're just tracking it more and more. But I mean, what does it mean to be human? Is being human an arbitrator over what ideas are good and what ideas are evil, or is being human more than that? Is it experience? We see many families getting together and they can't agree about politics, and they never see each other again. Or we see people looking on the news about a child dying in Africa and how hungry they are, and being consumed with all this information, and then their baby's right beside them, completely neglected of attention, or their spouse or whatever. And it seems that it is more enjoyable to us, or more easy to us, to consume or to produce information and ideas than it is to actually connect with the people who have these ideas. We don't see someone else as an agent who can enrich our lives with a very unique perspective that has never happened before and will never be replicated in the future. We see someone as a holder of ideas, good or bad, and we must judge the ideas. It seems to me that we would be a lot more fulfilled if we actually experienced who the person was, and did things with them, and somehow connected on a way that we all desire. Like when we date, that's what we look for, but we don't look for this on a daily basis in our daily lives. And it even gets into the religious circles. I know, and I do think it's a good thing that we have this sort of two sides of the debate in YouTube channels. They've got like the atheists and the theists, and they're presenting their arguments. They're finally starting a dialogue. I think that's great. But if God is real, our ideas about him seem to be one of the least relevant things. He can either be experienced or he can't be. And if he can be experienced, the theists are right. And if he can't be, the atheists are wrong. It's kind of like these two people are sitting talking about, we'll just say, economics, and they both, we'll even say they agree. They come to an agreement, 100% certainty, this economic policy works, and it works great. But they haven't implemented it. If they just implemented it and completely derailed everything, and everyone was in poverty and in shambles, they were wrong, no matter how rational their arguments may have been. Not to say that having like arguments about the existence of God and the rationality behind those arguments are invalid or unuseful, but it is to say that the most rational thing to do is to base your decisions and your beliefs off your actual experience and not off of conjecture. And it's not just about having the right ideas, and how I think experience can help us do that better than just talking about it. It's the fact that we're built and we are made, or we're whatever you want to say, we are in the position where experience fulfills us, and where information leaves us drained. It leaves us tired, it leaves us anxious, it leaves us depressed. And we should get back to that.